The death of Osama bin Laden at the hands of U.S. forces. What will be the fallout? Joining us on the phone now is Donald Rumsfeld, former U.S. Defense Secretary and author of the new book, Known and Unknown, a memoir. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be with you.
How important a victory is this for the U.S., and how do you personally feel about the killing of bin Laden almost a decade since 9/11?
Well, it is important. He has become the face, the symbol of terrorism, Islamic, radical Islamists in the world. And I think the fact that the coalition of countries shared intelligence and worked the problem seriously for a number of years and were successful ought to be a signal to other terrorists that while manhunts are difficult, they're not impossible. And the world's a better place with him gone.
How do you personally feel about this, having been a member of the Bush administration?
Well, I think that it is, if you think back to September 11th, when 3,000 innocent men, women, and children were killed, and the man who masterminded it was an individual who had put out a fatwa saying that it was the obligation of Muslims to kill Americans, saying that the United States was a paper tiger and wouldn't respond to being attacked. I think it's a signal that's a good signal in the world, that in fact the United States, thanks to George W. Bush's administration, put in place some structures that put pressure on terrorists and led to this event, and thanks to the Obama administration continuing those approaches and procedures, we've now been successful.
Of course, Bush administration widely criticized for waterboarding and other aggressive interrogation techniques. Do you think, now that it's all said and done, harsh interview techniques at Gitmo actually helped find bin Laden and contributed to his killing?
Well, first of all, no one was waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay. That's a myth that's been perpetrated around the country by critics. The United States Department of Defense did not do waterboarding for interrogation purposes to anyone. And it is true, as I understand it, that some information that came from normal interrogation approaches in Guantanamo did lead to information that was beneficial in this instance. But it was not harsh treatments, and it was not waterboarding, as you've suggested.
I guess what we're getting at, Mr. Secretary, is does the killing of bin Laden now exonerate the Bush administration's techniques in questioning and getting leads?
Oh, I think your point's a good one. I think that it certainly points up the fact that the structures that President Bush put in place in his administration, in military commissions, Guantanamo Bay, the Patriot Act, indefinite detention, and humane treatment, but intensive interrogation, to be sure, all contributed to the success we've had in the global war on terror. The fact that we've not had another attack on America in close to a decade, I don't think anyone would have been bold enough to predict that 10 years ago. And certainly the killing of bin Laden is a testimony to our intelligence community that has pursued this vigorously and energetically. We've always had the ability to capture or kill Obama. What we didn't have was the intelligence that was needed. And these special operations forces that whose capabilities have been enormously strengthened over the past 10 years do such a terrific job and deserve a great deal of credit for their courage, their patriotism, and their dedication.
It was thought that bin Laden was hiding in a cave somewhere, but turns out he was hiding in a custom-built compound near a Pakistani military academy. Do you think Pakistan was hiding bin Laden?
I don't know, and I think it's a fair question to ask the extent to which probably not the Pakistani government, but possibly some people connected to the Pakistani intelligence services may or may not have had information about his location. It's proper to ask those questions, and it's useful to know the answers.
Pakistan was getting billions of dollars from U.S. taxpayers. What does this say about their trustworthiness, if anything?
Well, we don't know yet. What we do know is that it's a Muslim country. They have nuclear weapons. They have been enormously helpful to us, particularly under the Musharraf regime, in allowing us access into Afghanistan and cooperating with us from a military standpoint. We always knew that there are people in Pakistan who have supported the Taliban and supported Al-Qaeda. That's true in a number of countries in the world. But the assistance we've provided to Pakistan has been, in my view, largely well spent, and the advantages that have accrued to the United States in terms of our ability to eliminate the Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and to push the Taliban out, I think has been a proper use of taxpayers' money. You
mentioned nuclear weapons. Could the fact that this happened now destabilize the nuclear weapons in Pakistan?
I don't think it'll have any bearing at all on it. We do know that the Al-Qaeda has sought out chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons, and we do know that they've alleged that in the event that Osama bin Laden is killed or captured, that they would undertake some additional terrorist attacks on America and on our friends and allies around the world, including in Europe.
And finally, CIA Director Leon Panetta says terrorists will almost certainly avenge the killing of bin Laden. Do you think that's inevitable, sir?
I think that it's likely they will try.
Former U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, and again, the name of his new book, Known and Unknown, a Memoir. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.